My name is Lilia Agüero, and I serve as Director of Education at the School of Arts and Culture, a nonprofit community school of dance, music, theater, and visual arts. The school was the result of a 2-year community process led by the City of San Jose to determine the best and highest use of the city-owned facility known as the Mexican Heritage Plaza. The plaza encompasses beautiful outdoor spaces, cultural gardens, pavilion, and a fully professional-grade 500-seat theater. It is situated in the heart of San Jose's historic Mayfair neighborhood, home of Cesar Chavez during the time when Mayfair, then known as Sal Si Puedes, or Get Out If You Can, was the epicenter of the farm workers movement. The plaza itself stands on the site of the old Safeway, the place where Cesar Chavez launched the first grape boycott. The outcome of that 2-year community process was that the best and highest use of the facility was that of a school of arts and culture in service to children. My parents immigrated to the U.S. in the 1960s. They settled in East LA, specifically Boyle Heights, a working-class, predominantly Mexican community racked by gang violence, poverty, and low-performing schools. I was the first in my family to go to college. It was while I was in college that I stumbled upon education as a career and a vocation. I started out with the goal of teaching high school history and even won a $10,000 grant to do graduate work in American history. But my career took a different turn when I left the U.S. to live and work in Germany for 4 years. In Germany, I became an English teacher and a sort of accidental ambassador for American culture for the young apprentices and management professionals I got to work with. Well, I was very much drawn to the arts as a performer from childhood and into college, taking enough courses to minor in music and art. It was only upon my return to the U.S. when I connected with the nonprofit arts and cultural organizations in San Jose, where the possibility of merging my vocation in education and my love for the arts became an actual possibility. With the growing movement toward privatization of public education as a whole, especially of visual and performing arts education in California public schools, we find that students who stand to benefit most from high-quality arts and cultural learning have the least access to it. Despite the research on the impact of high-quality arts education on the brain, on social and emotional intelligence, on positive social outcomes for youth, as documented in the work of researchers and thought leaders such as James Catterall, Ken Robinson, Lois Hetland, Elliot Eisner, and the nation's premier teaching artist, Eric Booth. Despite the success of U.S. programs such as the Chicago Arts Partnerships in Education in underserved Chicago public schools, or the City of Dallas's Big Thought program, a powerful collaborative of city, business, local arts providers demonstrating major impact on Dallas's underserved youth, in particular Latinos. Despite the success of U.S. programs based on El Sistema, the renowned Venezuelan music education program that is the most exciting thing happening in Western classical music today, we Californians are still caught in a paralysis of imagination and political will to fund public education at a level beyond mere survival, let alone fund visual and performing arts education. Wealthy communities routinely make up the difference for their local public schools. Poorer communities must do without and struggle to remain engaged in education programs saddled with addressing academic gaps that stem from limited access to quality early childhood and primary school learning experiences, the stresses of poverty, and the resulting social and economic isolation that feeds a cycle of negative social outcomes and prospects, low expectations, and ill preparedness for academic and work-life success. While visual and performing arts education is no panacea for addressing the educational disparities facing poor communities, especially poor communities of color, the lack of investment in a whole education for every child in California has only exacerbated the gap between rich and poor. Even if a poor student of color were to beat the odds and emerge prepared for college entrance and gain acceptance into university, higher education is moving further and further out of reach as students now face unprecedented levels of debt in order to finance an undergraduate level of education. In such a context, why the arts? What the arts have to teach has more relevance than ever before for the positive development of today's youth. All youth, but especially poor students of color. Engagement in the tactile world of making and creating, of imagining and then bringing a creation to life. Engagement with rich arts content that demands craft and discipline and connects us with our history, our community, with one another and with ourselves. These are the experiences that stimulate and grow the creative and expressive capacities for communication and engagement in the global community dialogue now possible by the rise of the internet. Global learning and dialogue across cultures, countries, and walks of life is helping to level the playing field by breaking down the isolation. But the development of perspective, voice, and the qualities of empathy and social connection cultivated by arts learning experiences are critical for effective engagement. The capacity for imagination and agile thinking are critical to problem solving as we grapple with unprecedented challenges coming at us at dizzying speed. Things such as global warming, mass extinction of species, the rise of terrorism, and so on. These can be addressed by the approaches and habits of mind cultivated by the arts. The School of Arts and Culture at the Mexican Heritage Plaza is rooted in Mexican culture and arts, yet approaches its work from a multicultural perspective. The school works with professional, practicing artists who are also community-minded and skilled educators to offer classes for ages 0 up to elders, as well as offering summer camps for ages 4 to 18 in visual and performing arts, including mariachi music and instruments, Mexican folklorico, Brazilian dance and percussion, Aztec drum and dance, painting, drawing, paper mache, also classical guitar, modern acting, and community theater. One of the hallmarks of the program is the public recital, where students demonstrate their learning through performances and exhibitions for the entire community, both in festival settings as well as on a professional stage. While the on-site classes form the program core, we choose to partner with selected local school sites in a collaborative approach to serve local youth through cultural arts and education. This extends our reach and connects local youth and school communities with the School of Arts and Culture. The programs are supported by a business model including community engagement partners, Multicultural Arts Leadership Institute and Network, and market rate rentals. So why is this innovative? Community schools of music and art have their roots in the acculturation and assimilation movements which sought to integrate newly arrived immigrants into American society at the beginning of the 20th century. In more recent times, parents and other community members built community schools to support accessible, lifelong learning and participation in the arts. The big irony of today's internet world is that despite our so-called virtual communities, we are still hungry for that sense of connection in the tactile world. Alienation and isolation is at the root of so much community disengagement. The School of Arts and Culture is food for this hunger for connection and belonging. The School of Arts and Culture works to meet community need for quality arts learning rooted in culture, specifically in deep, authentic cultural forms and expressions that connect students to their heritage, to local community, and a felt sense of soul, or what we call alma. The plaza, which houses the School of Arts and Culture, functions as the neighborhood's gathering place and provides an aesthetic and serene container for broad community gatherings to neighborhood meetings and life celebrations, from weddings and quinceañeras to memorials and baptisms. The School of Arts and Culture not only offers the classes and celebrations and events from its particular perspective, but greatly augments its offerings through extensive collaborations encompassing smaller organizations and individuals across sectors and disciplines, cultures, and generations. This makes access to the resources of the school and the plaza itself far more accessible to the entire community. Here, all are welcome to participate, to engage, to make, create, and express. The school offers access to quality and meaningful learning in the arts for the local community and offers a home for its heart and soul as well. What has been our impact on students? We are providing access to quality arts learning over a developmental pathway. And this means We offer a place where students can grow with us, when they can build their skills over time. We also offer students a connection to heritage, culture, and community that is essential for the development of identity, positive identity in our youth. We help students form a connection to positive role models, professional artists who look like them, who possess the educator's skill set and commitment to the local community and to them as individuals. We have also seen positive youth outcomes, pro-social behaviors, where students are now engaging in dialogue instead of in conflict to resolve problems. We are also helping all students to develop their capacity to participate here as a maker, a performer, a creator, and producer in the arts, not just as a consumer. The work that the School of Arts and Culture engages in is especially important now for reasons of social justice and historical disenfranchisement that Latino students in California have experienced for so many years. This is an underserved population which is growing significantly in California and in our country. Today, 25% of California students are English language learners, but 85% of these students speak Spanish. Within this context of 163 second languages spoken in California homes, it is essential that students are able to make connection to their heritage, connection to their community, connection to one another and to themselves in order to experience success in life. The School of Arts and Culture offers community-based offerings that, once again, connect these students to their heritage and culture and enable them to form positive identity. It offers these classes in a way that builds a developmental pathway for students to then grow and develop the skills over time that deep engagement and disciplined engagement has to offer. The school also helps students develop their own perspective, to see themselves and the community from an asset-based approach rather than from one of deficiency or pathology. Access to what the arts have to teach are critical for participation in the global marketplace. Further, the School of Arts and Culture is also strengthening and the expansion of local education, cultural, and arts ecology throughout the region. Most importantly, the school is making the arts relevant once again to the community in which it is located. I really want to close with the story of a young lady by the name of Soraya, who has the dream of becoming a doctor. Soraya started with the School of Arts and Culture in the summer camps. She's now been coming to the school for 3 years, almost since the time that the school opened. Soraya is excited about what she is learning. She is a student of multicultural background. She herself is of Black and Latino heritage, African American and Latino heritage. Yet at the School of Arts and Culture, she is honored and can be whole. She can connect to a multicultural identity in a positive, seamless way that affirms her identity, that develops her skills, that develops her capacities. Even though she may not choose to become a professional artist, she is benefiting from engaging in quality arts learning that will have a critical role to play and help her achieve her dream of becoming a doctor. I am Lilia Agüero, Director of Education at the School of Arts and Culture in San Jose, California. Thank you for watching this episode of MCAET Talks. If you would like more information on the topics presented here, please contact your local County Office of Education or visit www.mcaet.org for related links. You may also visit our website for the School of Arts and Culture at www.schoolofartsandculture.org. Gracias. Thank you for watching.